Hey guys, Jeff aka GCurse here. How are y'all doing? This was originally planned to be a channel or a video comment reply video. However, when I got home, surprise, surprise, the comment that I was going to be talking about was actually deleted. That I could not find it. I'm not sure what happened to it. I'm sure it was deleted though. Which is kind of a shame, because the person who left this comment, they started off pretty strong, and then it kind of fizzled out at the end. So basically, the question is, are the detractors and DSP two sides of the same coin? I read that, okay? The comment originally started, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have it here, so I can't read the whole thing to you. What I can do is I can do a follow-up, because I actually saved the comment on the computer at my job. I should just put the image on the cloud, but I didn't, because I figured it was going to be here. Sadly, it wasn't. Anyway. So, to just basically paraphrase, the guy started off pretty strong. He claimed that the detractors and DSP are the two sides of the same coin. Now, I read this first part, and normally, you should know one thing about me. I am pretty straight-faced when I'm at work. I literally look like this. I literally look like just somebody who, just is here, I'm like, nothing more, nothing less. It's just. So I was reading this comment, and for like the first time ever, I don't know, that's sounding too grandiose, but let's use the Grinch that stole Christmas. For the first time ever, his heart started to thaw and beat and grow in size. It's not the best analogy, but it's a little bit after 5, and I'm a little bit tired. So there I was reading this comment, and I went from this to this. I saw this, and I'm like, this is going to make a good video comment reply video. So the person basically continued on saying, you and the detractors and DSP are the two sides of the same coin. And this is where he started to kind of fizzle off. He goes, I saw you on camera, and you are exactly what I could imagine a detractor looking like, or something along those lines, And I'm like, ooh, damn. You had it. You had it, and then you fumbled it. And boy, did he fumble it. Anyway. So I thought, okay, well, let's talk about the difference between DSPGaming and the detractors. Now, when I say detractors, I'm going to be talking about myself, because I view myself as one of the OG detractors. I may not, be known about being a detractor, but I am a detractor. I've been a detractor of Phil since 2009. So with that said, I figure that's why I make these videos and everything. It's just I do not like this guy. And I personally think, at least between me and Phil, our differences are not just, it's not just an issue of popularity. No, this is something more deep. This is something, oh God, it's like, it goes way deeper than just, skin level pettiness. Oh, you're jealous of me, haha. No, it's a fundamental difference. That's what I'm trying to think of. It's a fundamental difference. I don't know why I didn't think of the word fundamental until now, but it's a fundamental difference. So I figured, I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes me different as a detractor compared to Phil Burnell, aka DSP Gaming. And I will put up, in post editing, I will put up, a list, on this side for DSP, like, him and myself. Okay, so let's get it started. Phil likes to claim that the detractors, all detractors, are jobless, no life, no load, or whatever he likes to call that. We're jobless, we're lifeless, we have no ambition, we're basically living in our parents' basements. Now, if you listen to him go even further back, he will claim that detractors are literally just people who live in their parents' basement drinking Fanta and eating Doritos. I'll be honest, I haven't never had Fanta. And what you see here is not a basement. And the biggest part of Phil's argument is the job. Should a guy who has an 18-hole gaping hole in his job history really be talking about jobs? I have had this current job for 6 years, over 6 years. I just had my 6th year anniversary back in September. I got this job 2019. When was the last time Phil actually had a job? And before, somebody comes out here and says, oh, Phil's a streamer, that's his job. It's not a job. It's not a job. That's a hobby. It's a hobby. When was the last time Phil had a legitimate job? What was it, 2006, 2007? When he got fired from the helicopter plant that he basically got a job at because he is a participant in parental nepotism. He got that job at the helicopter plant not because of his of hard work and everything. No, he got it because his dad got it for him. I'm not sure what's worse, a person who basically had to claw their way to get into the job that they have like I did, or somebody who only got as far as they did because their father actually put in the hard work and their child surfed in via their father's coattails. I'm sorry, but one is a lot better than the other. Okay, so we talked about jobs a little bit. Let's talk about income. Income, because that's something Phil really likes to do. Phil likes to talk about how he is such a success. He is a success that even recently, the detractors are jealous of his success. Okay, let's talk about success. I make multiple thousands a month at my job because I actually took time in when I went to college, which I will talk about in a little bit. I put the time in. I got a job that pays me multiple thousands a month. And what does Phil do? Phil begs. That isn't just me saying it either. That's not me just saying, oh, he's a beggar, he's a bum. Phil went out on record, and you can find it now. It's all over the net. Phil proudly proclaimed that he was an e-beggar. He's an e-beggar. That right there alone should really widen that chasm between DSP Gaming and the detractors. Me, I like to earn the money that I have. I don't make a video and I don't guilt people to give me money. I don't. Because I have something that Phil doesn't. I have pride. The weird thing is Phil's version of pride. It is like a gross. Uh, it is a gross pollution. Pollution. Is that the right word I'm thinking of? It's a gross tainting of the word pride. Phil takes pride in turning on a webcam and guilting his audience for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 hours a day. He guilts them. I'm not making the goal. Why am I not making the goal? It's your guys' fault. And you don't believe so? Look at the videos that he's been producing recently. He will systematically pit his YouTube audience against his Kick audience. Guys, look at you guys, Kick. You didn't do anything. YouTube is all awesome. It's all awesome. YouTube is the good child. Kick is the redheaded stepchild. I'm sorry, I cannot honestly look at myself in the mirror if the only way I could get ahead is to literally beg people for money. Phil literally begs people for money. I don't. Then again, my videos aren't monetized. Even if they were monetized, which I do hope one day that they would be, I would rather get paid due to the hard work and effort that I put into my videos. Now, a lot of people probably laugh, oh, you don't put that much effort in. And you're right. Are my videos master level crafted pieces of entertainment? No, they're not. But the one thing you would never see me do is guilt my audience. Let's say that I even spread my wings and I went to Kick or I went to Rumble. I still would not do this whole pitting one against the other. And this isn't something new that Phil did recently, where he started basically, having his two groups fight amongst each other for his approval. No, this is something Phil did day one when he got monetized with Kick. He would actually try and hold these little rallies. Okay, guys, let's see which one contributes the most. It's gross. I was gonna use a profanity, but I'm trying not to. It's gross. It is a gross. It's a gross taint of what his audience should be. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Okay, let's take a look at something that Phil is really known for, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at something that he is just really known for. And that is being in debt. Being in debt. Once again, this is something that I'm not just pulling out of the thin air. This is something Phil has talked about at length over the years. He's been in debt to poor business choices that he's made. Credit cards, 13 credit cards. And then he would probably talk about, I thought I was so smart. I would move my debt from one credit card to another credit card, to a third credit card, to a ninth credit card, to the 13th credit card. I thought I could do this forever. And then it would end up failing. You want something a little bit more up to date? He declared bankruptcy. And once again, it's been proven. And I'm pretty sure that he is still in debt, if not to the tax man. I'm pretty sure he has debts to other things that may have popped up since he got that bankruptcy approved. Me, on the other hand, I don't have any debt. I do not have any debt. Which actually feels quite good to say. That's the one thing I can always say is that, for all the mistakes I've made in my life, which I'm going to be talking about in the next entry, I can actually say I don't have any debt. I think, at least for me, when it comes to the difference between me as a detractor and DSP Gaming, It is my ability to accept responsibility for the things I've done in the past. Now, to those who don't know, and that's okay if you don't, I actually dropped out of high school. I dropped out of high school in 11th grade. It was just, I was just, it was like mid spring that I dropped out of high school in 2000. At the time, I was cracking. I was dealing with stuff at home. I was dealing with stuff at school, and I made a poor judgment call. I made a poor judgment call to basically drop out. Was it something that, now that I look back, was it something I should have done? Fuck no. No, it wasn't. But I did. I went over 9 years, with part-time jobs and all that, and I fucking hated it. I fucking hated it. I hated it a lot. It wasn't until 2012 that I decided, you know what, I need to do something better. I need to do something better. But I didn't have that push yet. I just knew that I wanted to do something better. But at this point, I was like, I was in a rut, and I did not know, what to do. And this is the one thing I always give Phil credit for. Phil claims that he doesn't get a lot of credit from his detractors. Here's something I'm going to give Phil credit for. It is because of Phil that I actually turned my life around. It is because of Phil. It is, a lot of people will be like, oh my God, really? He actually helped me. You're damn right he did help me. I will give him credit. Thank you, DSPGaming. You actually gave me that push I need. Now, you're wondering, how did Phil help me? Well, get ready, because here's how he helped me. Even though when I was having these little odd jobs, part-time jobs, the big thing, that, caught my eye when I was younger and, earlier in the 2000s was the advent of YouTube, for example, the media, I saw Phil playing games, and I thought, you know what? I could do that. I wanted to become the next big Let's Player. I wanted to become the next big Let's Player. And, to Phil's credit, he was one of the first people. I watched Phil, and I actually, I had a slightly old computer, and I tried my best. I tried to make a go of it. And it isn't like the beast of a computer that I have now. The computer I had was so old, and I had to use, it was a capture card. I used a capture card, but it wasn't actually meant for video gaming. It was actually meant to convert VHS tapes to DVD, or to digital, basically. And basically what I would do is I would use this setup to record gameplay, and then through the computer itself I was actually recording myself as I talked. And I'm amazed my computer could actually handle all that work, because this was an old computer. It was an old computer that I got from Rent-A-Center, or Rent-A-Center. I wanted to call it Rent-Town USA, but Rent-Town USA has been gone forever. It was Rent-A-Center. And this computer was already old when I got it, but somehow I was able to do the job. And, I would, this was back when I had DSL. And my God, the speeds were horrendous. To upload like a simple, like 5 GB video, it would take like overnight, because I had really slow upload speeds for my DSL. It was fucking funny, So, and then I think it was around 2012, 2013-ish. It was all like a big, perfect storm. I saw a video that Phil released. Now, keep in mind, in 2009, I had an encounter with Phil Burnell online, and that was like the first major thing that kind of turned me off from Phil. Basically, Phil told me to go commit suicide. He told me to go commit suicide back in the mid to late 2000s. YouTube actually had they used to have their own private messaging system. They don't have it anymore. And it was via that Phil basically told me to go commit suicide. That I was trying to that I was jealous, and he's been doing this for years. He's been doing this for years. That I want to get popular off of him, yeah. And that right there, that was like the advent of me becoming a detractor. But what it was that really just pushed everything, that gave me that drive, that push to become something better. It was that video, I think he released in 2012, 2013, where he was facing off against somebody in Injustice, Gods Among Us. And this person was zoning him. He was zoning Phil. I think he was using Deadshot. I think it was Deadshot or Dead Eye or Dead Aim. I can't remember. It was the one eye assassin from the Batman universe, if I remember correctly. Phil went on this rant. He literally went on this rant. And he basically, he got pissed off that this guy was outplaying him. Then again, everybody outplays Phil. And Phil basically said, something along the lines of go eat your fucking Doritos, drink your Fanta. He just let the mask go off full. The mask was full off. I watched Phil treat this person that way. And that was then I realized, if that's what fame does to people, I wouldn't want that. I would not want that. And it was shortly right after that, I decided I was going to go get my GED. And I actually got my GED. I had my GED by late 2013, I think it was. I had to go through some preparatory classes. You have to get your GED in Washington State. I'm not sure how it is elsewhere, but in Washington State, to apply for your GED, to take the test, you have to go through so many classes. You have to, rank, not rank. You have to pull, your scores have to be good enough to go take the GED test. I took the classes early 2013-ish, I want to say. And I was pretty much done. And I had my GED the summer of 2013. Now, I was excited. I was fucking excited. I'm like, holy damn, I finally did it. I dropped out of school. It took quite a while, but I got my GED. What a lot of people don't realize is, especially if you're going to high school in the 1990s, they basically said that if you had your GED or you had your high school diploma, you could get a job. That's not true. That's not true. I had my GED and I started applying for more jobs. I had the work ethic. I wanted to work. Sadly, nobody was hiring me. And it could be because I, didn't have a high school diploma. It could be I just had a GED. It could be that, I had a couple years of no job history because I stopped working when I started going to get my GED. That could have been what it was. But nobody would hire me. And it got really sad. And I remember beating the street to try and find a job. I mean, at this time, 2013 to 2013ish, especially around the holidays, it was one of those times that this area was just new jobs everywhere, and I could not find a new job anywhere. I couldn't. I just could not. I ended up, in spring of 2014, that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to college. I went to college. And in 2018, 4 years, a little over 4 years. I graduated in June 2018 with my degree, and the rest, as you know, is golden now. I can take responsibility for the fuck ups in my life. I gladly admit that I fucked up. Everything that I did, I fucked up when I dropped out. That was all on me. That was all on me. I'm not going to even say that was anybody else's fault. That was me. I was too weak to basically push my way through school. I just was. I was too weak. Now, if we are to compare that to Phil, let's talk about Phil, shall we? Let's do that. Phil, he cannot accept responsibility for anything. Going up to right now, what is the biggest issue, you know, like what is the biggest thing he refuses to accept responsibility for? His failing business. I don't consider it business, but the, you know, the government does consider it a business. I just don't. I consider it a hobby. His failing business. Does Phil ever say, you know what, I'm the reason my business is failing. I'm the reason that, you know, I'm not pulling in the money that I think I should be getting. It's my fault that I got banned from Blip TV. It's my fault I got kicked off the Google AdSense program. Has Phil ever done anything like that? No. He places blame on everyone else. Damn, somebody's really revving their engine outside. Google AdSense. It was a collected targeted assassination job against him. Blip TV. It was people who were upset wrongfully at him and they were jealous. Let's keep in mind, AdSense, Phil told people to click on the ads. Blip TV, he was acting like a goddamn Nazi. Let's talk about, you want something a slightly newer? Twitch partnership program. He claimed that it was people that, once again, it was the detractors that were out to get him. That they did this because they couldn't get him any other way, so basically they targeted his income. Wrong, Phil. It was proven that you were moved from the Twitch partnership program for basically hate speech. Basically for hate speech. And a lot of that still leaks over to YouTube from time to time. You just have to watch some of his videos and you can hear what this guy has to say. Issue with Kat, his wife. It's a detractor's fault. Keep in mind, Phil's the one that feeds this lady too much food. Issues with, he can't collab with anybody. Phil cannot collaborate with anybody. He blames the detractors. He says that they make it impossible for anybody to want to collaborate with him. Phil blames the detractors for the lack of sponsorships. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who probably says, oh, I would never take a sponsorship because I'm a real gamer. I don't sell out, brother. But then on the other hand, he will then say that the detractors have taken away his ability to get sponsorships. What the fuck is it, Phil? Phil has a running history. Phil blames the FGC for the hate that he gets. When in reality, it was Phil who would go onto these various fighting community websites and basically just harass people. Oh, I'm sorry, Phil. Just so you know, when you harass people, it's going to piss people off. Up next. Let's talk about how me as a detractor views my critics or my supporters compared to how Phil DSPGaming views his viewers and his critics and whatnot. I'll start with myself again. I view the people who watch my video, people who may agree or disagree with what I say, I view them as a resource. Now you're probably going to say, Jeff, that's weird that you view them as a resource. No, and hear me out. Hear me out. I can understand why people would think, well, that's weird, Jeff, that you would view them as a resource. I view them as a resource and as a positive. If it wasn't for those people, I would not get to where I am now. I am currently holding at, let's see, as I am recording this, what am I at? Hold on. You'll have to forgive me here. I didn't think about this until right now. When I last looked today, I was at 731 subscribers. Let me just check. Yeah, I'm currently holding at 731 subscribers. If it wasn't for those people, I would not be at that point now. I view my viewers, my critics, my supporters as a valuable resource. It's because of them that they help me get my name out there. It's because of them that I am able to make these videos, good or bad. I can respect my critics and my supporters. The only critics I have issues with are the people who take it way, way too seriously. The critics that will literally say that they're going to kill me, for example. And there have been a few. Normally, if you just say something like, haha, you're fat. Yeah, I've been called fat since 4th grade. That shit means nothing to me. It's when people start saying things that could get them into legal trouble. That's when I have to put the hammer down or the baseball bat down, to quote Negan. No exceptions. I value my viewers as a resource. They helped me get to this point, and I am forever grateful. I view them as, as a group that likes what I do, good or bad. I have, viewers that support what I do, that like what I do. Now, even if it doesn't even have to be DSP related content. I have viewers that like my Unsolved Mysteries content. I have viewers that like my Transformers content. I like to say that I'm like a broad ranging kind of person. I respect and I appreciate those people. They're, like I said, they are a resource. But I view it differently. I view them as, they help me get to where I am. And I am forever grateful for that. DSPGaming. He views them simply as a walking ATM. That's all. That's all. He only views them as a source of income. The one thing that, for example, Phil claims that he loves his audience, that he cares about his audience. I remember that a viewer told Phil that I think that they lost a family member. They lost a family member, or a family member was dying, or they had something tragic happen to them. You know where this is going. They were literally, they were having a really hard day. And for some godforsaken reason, they view Phil as, something that would make them happy when they are dealing with such hardships, Phil literally accused that person of trying to co-opt his stream and make it all about themselves. Hell, if I fucking streamed and a streamer, or not a streamer, of a viewer came to me, onto my stream and goes, "Hey Jeff, my mom died. And I'm having it hard, man." I would literally stop right there. And I would hope that my audience would understand. I'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm playing Dead Space 2. I love Dead Space 2. I'm going to stop this right now. We're going to talk. Me and this guy, we would talk. We would talk until he is good. Why would I talk to this guy? Because my mom died also. And I would know. I would know what this guy is going through because I went through that same shit. I would be there for my audience. You know, if I could, you know, I would be there. You know, if I'm streaming and they're having a hard day, I would try my damnedest that by the time that they were done, that they were ready to sign off, you know, for the night or whatever, I would make sure that they would be in a better position than they were when they first got on. And this goes back to, you know, me, you know, viewing my audience as a valuable resource. I would feel bad if a supporter of mine was having a hard day and all I can say to them is, you're making it about yourself. And this is like, this right here is where I really consider there to be a fundamental difference between DSP Gaming and me as a detractor. I respect my audience. I may be harsh, I may be abrasive, but I respect my audience. If an audience member came to me and goes, hey, Jeff, I want to thank you for being here for me today. I just found out my wife is divorcing me. I would be there to talk to that person because I know that they may not have somebody that they could just talk to. And if need be, I would talk to them for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, however long. Just as long as it helps them get into the right frame of mind so that they could make it to the next day. Phil, he doesn't do that. I have seen audience members of Phil Burnell, DSP Gaming, literally tell Phil, hey, Phil, I don't know you, but I view you like a friend. You have helped me, Phil. I view you as a friend. And what does Phil do? Instead of taking that hand and saying, hey, thanks, dude, that's really nice of you, he takes that hand and he slaps Phil and goes, that's fucking weird. You're no friend of mine. I don't even know you. That's fucking weird. This is the same guy who asks for money from his viewers. He can't even respect them enough to say, hey, that's very nice of you, dude. It takes a lot of courage for you to say something like that. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. No, he treats him like shit. And on the same hand, he expects him to pay him. And this is where I say that, literally, that there is a fundamental difference. Phil doesn't respect anyone. The only thing he respects is himself. I could make a list that would go on and on and on and on. It could probably even hit the bottom of this screen right here, like right here. It could go on and on forever, but I'm going to stop it with this last one right here. And that's ultimately the way that I treat my parents compared to how he treats his parents. And this is what fucking kills me the most. This is what kills me the most. I may shit on his mom because she basically coddled. She coddled Phil. Let's not deny it. She coddled Phil. It's because of her coddling Phil that we have the monster we now have. Phil likes to claim, oh no, the detractors created Frankenstein, the Frankenstein's monster. Now we have to deal. No, his mom did. His mom created this monster. Now, even though I give her a lot of shit, part of me also feels bad. Part of me feels bad. My mom died of a heart attack. I always thought, you know, and children are all the same. You may deny it, but it's ultimately true. We all think our parents are going to be there for us forever. I learned the hard way that that's not true. That's not true. It could be, you know, in the blink of an eye. Heart attack. Gone forever. I wish I could have 10 minutes again to have with my mom so I could just talk to her. I wish I could talk to her. I wish I could talk to her just to say how much You know, just to talk to her, you know, about anything and everything. She's gone. She's never coming back. Never. She's never coming back. Phil and Phil still has his mom and dad. He has his mom and he treats them like shit. He treats them like shit. He only acknowledges them when he can get something from them. Oh, my mom, she's going to send me something for Thanksgiving. My mom, she helped me get money to help me get out of my tax problem. When was the last time you actually even decided that you were going to go to your mom to see your mom and dad that was not dependent on you getting something out of it? Motherfucker, you still have your parents. You still have your parents and you refuse to go see them. Unless they literally say to you, Phil, if you come down here, we'll give you $10,000. So let's just name an amount, say $10,000. Then he'll go down there. But hey, Phil, you know, your mom and dad, me and your dad, you know, miss you, Phil. Can you come and see? Fuck no, I got streaming I have to do. Fuck you, Mom. You didn't get me that Wolverine toy. Go fuck yourself. He still has his mom and he treats his parents like shit. He treats his parents like shit. My mom died and I fucking wish she was here. I cannot understand. Unless he was literally a victim of child abuse, which I don't think he was. If he was a victim of child abuse, he would have never been a recipient of nepotism. He is just a horrible person. He is just a horrible person. The next time, sadly, that he will ever go see his mom and dad is when they're dead and he's trying to get the will. My mom left me a nice inheritance. That's on top of this nice job that I have. I would give up everything. I would give up everything if I could have 1 hour with my mom. And here we have a guy who can't even be fucking bothered to see his aging parents. I'll make you a fucking bet. When his parents die, he's going to blame the detractors. Because they made it impossible for him to go see his parents because they were attacking his source of income. No, Phil. We're not going to go down that road. You didn't go see your parents because you're a piece of shit and you know deep down inside you are. Like I said, this list could have been a hell of a lot longer. I mean, but then again, I'd be here literally just talking until like say 7 or 8. But I'm just going to cut it off here. I just, to reiterate what I said in the beginning, I think that ultimately it is a fundamental difference between DSP Gaming and the Detractors. Literally, we are well, at least for me, I am the polar opposite of Phil Burnell. I have a strong work ethic. I'm not in debt. I've been employed. I definitely take responsibilities for shit in my life that I've done. I respect my audience, even if there are people that don't like me, I still have respect for them. And most importantly, I would do anything to have 1 hour to just talk to my mom. I would give up everything I have. Everything you see here, everything you don't see here, I would give it all up if I could just sit down on a park bench and talk to my mom. I would give it all up. And Phil, he can't even be bothered. He can't even be bothered to take his wife on a honeymoon. What makes you think he'd ever want to go see his dying parents? And yeah, we know right now they're not dying, but soon they will be. There will be that time that they are literally at the point of no return. and they're going to see, and they're, it could be either the parents or a family member. They're going to say, "Hey, Phil, your parents are really in a bad position. You may want to go see them." Well, I can't go see them. I have my job. If I don't stream for one day, my job could go crashing down. Let me ask you a question, Phil. If you're such a success, how could being away for a week to see your dying parents, how could that be so catastrophic to your business that it would crash?